Not the Cave of Delusion again. Why am I tied up? Minuscule circle. Minuscule circle.
I heard you've been talking smack about The Sopranos.
Huh? What? What is going on here? I don't know what you're talking about.
A fellow soprano, you said some choice words. Remember?
Look, I want people to stay out of the Cave of Delusion, okay? So I just do my very best to give advice and... Why am I tied up is the main question here.
Shut up, rat boy. I'm actually not part of The Sopranos, not a mafia. I'm a German military man and I have bad headaches. So I need you to give me money for my medicine.
That can't be real. Like, I know I'm in the Cave of Delusion, but that is taking the piss, surely. Right? Right? No, that is correct. That's what is happening in this. So strap yourselves in, buckle yourselves up, get your hats on, get your pickaxes, because we've got a lot of mining to do in the Cave of Delusion for this one.
Hello, social catfish. My name's Carolyn Soprano. I'm 55 years old.
Are you in the mafia?
I was pursued by this person off and on for the last year.
Alright, I'm going to stop it there. I was waiting for the camera to pan away from his nipples. Not trying to see that and... Okay, let's just swiftly move on.
Daddy, chill.
I really want everyone to understand that having confidence in yourself is a good thing. However, there must be realism. I haven't said this in a while, but please recognize when a relationship, in quotations, is unrealistic. If this type of person is not approaching you in real life, it's very unlikely they're going to approach you online. So dip me in sherbet, pull me out, spank me on the booty. You are a mama of the sugar variety, it seems. Also, soprano? Goodness me, I say this without malice. Okay, Caroline, please take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt if you ever see this. I don't want to wake up with a horse's head next to me in bed, please. I really urge you, in a respectful way, right, to get a grip of yourself. Because this guy is not going to want to have anything to do with you. I don't think he's close to your age. And I know that might be harsh to some, but let's get realistic, please. It will save you a lot of headache.
Yeah, we definitely talk about getting married, and we talk about different places to live. I'm definitely in love with him.
Yes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Scamfish presented by socialcatfish.com. On today's episode, we speak to a woman named Caroline from Virginia. She was contacted by a man named Donnie Charlie on TikTok.
Really?
The two of them hit it off and started a relationship online through chats. Caroline is still in contact with Donnie, but she is having doubts about him being who he claims to be after sending him over $10,000. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this.
Oh, we're already at the bottom, Drew. Like, we're in the Cave of Delusion. We have spelunked our way. We're approaching hell at this point. TikTok is interesting. I've come across quite a few episodes now where people are meeting their lover on TikTok. I don't want to speak for the entire world, of course, but I find it very interesting that adults are meeting their supposed lover on TikTok. You know, if you're a teenager, maybe, I guess. But I'd recommend not doing that, because TikTok, you go on there, look at this person being silly. You are being silly, tell you that much. It's funny that you've got an Italian surname of sorts, because you've said ciao bella to all common sense here.
This is great banter.
Oh, and also, you guys have probably heard me say Donnie in a few episodes. It's kind of like UK slang. It's just a general term to just, when you're talking about someone, you know? Man said this, equals they said this, kind of. Donnie is doing this, they are doing this, in a way. Donnie's name is Donnie Charlie, was it? Donnie? Is anyone's name genuinely Donnie? I mean, Don, of course. We got a whole mafia freaking theme in this stupidness. Donnie Charlie. Sounds like a stage name for a silent film or something. That was a noise. That wasn't silent. My brain.
Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Go do that, subscriber.
Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. Let's get into it.
What you already are?
I'm a widow.
Oh, goodness.
Have been for 7 years.
Rest in peace.
I was a widow for 3 years, and I wasn't ready at the time until 3 years after my husband died. The first time I got onto an online site, the person was able to get my banking information somehow through my phone and was able to scam me out of $3,000.
Sorry, what do you mean they were somehow able? Is this a case of you just gave this information and you don't want to take accountability, or maybe you don't want to come across as foolish as the story all seems to be? I'm very much confused there. You ended up on a dating site and got hacked. How likely or how often does that happen unless you give someone that access? Maybe, I've seen this before, they ask you for a code, you get a code to your phone asking you to log in somewhere, and you think it might stem from your side, but it doesn't. Somehow they've done that. I've got messages like that. I don't even use Facebook, but a Donnie freaking messaged me saying, hey, I've been hacked. This was a colleague of mine when I used to work in retail. They messaged saying, hey, I've been hacked. Can you send me the code that you received so I can log in to my Facebook? How can you log into your Facebook if you've sent me a code? Thankfully, I caught on quite early. Otherwise, they would have hacked my Facebook, I guess. But I guess Instagram would be tied in. So you didn't ask for any of that. But it's an example of what could have happened here. I'm going to believe that she gave the information because, you've been scammed again since you're here. So it wouldn't surprise me that you have been scammed in the past. It's okay. You've been a fool. I like to say this nowadays. You've been a fool. It doesn't mean you have to be a fool going forwards. Learn from it, but it doesn't seem like you've learned from it.
After the scam 4 years ago, I kind of switched and didn't do any of those sites, and tried to date a couple people, and that didn't pan out very well.
After being scammed out of thousands of dollars, Caroline quit online dating. She started to form a relationship with someone in person.
Okay.
But it just didn't work out.
We dated off and on for about 2 years, but it never went anywhere. He wasn't ready, and he just felt like he wanted to have more of friends with benefits instead of just having a relationship or going the next step. After we had been together for a year, he said he wanted to just be part-time.
What?
And that we were already part-time. We were only see each other every couple weeks. That kind of messed with me a lot. That made me want to go back to online dating. I don't know if it's because they seemed more real than he was, or if it was because he was heartless about, not wanting to have a real relationship after being together that long.
This might be controversial, but if you're someone who knows you want to be away from someone, I guess you don't want a relationship, you just want a friends with benefits type thing, don't waste people's time. Like, surely you're wasting your own time if you're saying, hey, let's do this part-time. What is a part-time relationship? You donkey. Do you know what I mean? Get the hell out of here if you're not looking for a serious relationship with someone who I presume communicated that they wanted a full-time relationship. But then again, maybe she didn't. I mean, victims don't really give the whole story a lot of the time of what's going on behind closed doors. she seemingly accepted it because she said they were already doing a part-time thing. They didn't really see each other much, which is sad. I understand she mentioned waiting after the passing of her husband, but I get the vibe she didn't fully heal. She didn't necessarily take as long as it seemingly should have to grieve, because it seems like she's just jumping too much and wanting to find a relationship rather than not needing one. Or, no, actually, it seems like she needs one. I'll flip reverse it. She needs one, and she's trying to find that happiness maybe in a relationship rather than her truly wanting one. She jumped from online dating, obviously the hacking stuff, to in person where she accepted not even seeing someone a lot. And then obviously, look, I'm not saying when you're early stages dating someone, you gotta freaking be attached at the hip or something, because you're still getting to feel each other out, know what each other wants and stuff. But she doesn't want the part-time thing, but she did stick around, so maybe she hung on to the hope that maybe he might change his mind. To me, it seems like she is grasping for a relationship to be happy, to fill the void, rather than she wants one genuinely. But let me know your thoughts so far.
Caroline went back to online dating after the relationship with the man she was dating in person didn't work out. And that's when it all started.
Somebody pursued me on TikTok.
Donnie.
His name is Donnie Charlie, and he lives in Germany,
Come on.
and he's in the military.
He lives in a different country as well, man.
Donnie is very handsome, and he's very sexy, and
I'm going to stop you there before you get too ahead of yourself, okay? We were talking about the nipples earlier on. Keep it at that, alright? Let's not talk about aubergines or anything, okay? When I mention he lives in a different country as well, that's not me saying you can't meet people from across the world and build a connection, because it happens. It's just the realism aspect that I was harping on about, right? Very attractive man, let's be honest, he's very handsome. And by no means, because some people like to misconstrue my words, I am not saying Caroline is unattractive in the same breath, alright? It's just that type of young man, seemingly in the military, across the world, is not going to reach out to you on TikTok, no less. Hopefully that makes sense. If anyone wants to, because a lot of people like to say, monster. There is no H in monster, so you're wrong.
Good job, little buddy.
Do you get my point? I understand there's an element of greed here, maybe, in the sense that you've jumped at the opportunity to be with such a man who's seemingly approached you. But again, we're just doing too much here to be in a relationship rather than want one.
very good pictures, and he looks like he should be a model on some kind of social media or something.
He probably is, as well.
He was like, "Hi, I don't know you, and you don't know me, but I would like to get to know you.
That doesn't
and
happen.
I would like to pursue you as."
I don't like, I would like to pursue you. Is that something that I'm just unaware of people saying? I don't like that choice of word. It gives stalker vibes, to be honest. Hey, gorgeous, I know we don't know each other, but I want to take you out on a date. Maybe this would work on a dating website, right? As a opening line, but not on TikTok. And just because it would come on a dating website, e.g. Tinder, you still have to watch out for red flags, such as someone being younger than you like this. I feel like, once again, she didn't really take the time, even after that initial real-life relationship with the whole part-time thing ended. I still believe you can grieve a relationship without necessarily physically losing someone in terms of them passing away. Take time And I assume she knows what she wants. She wants someone who's there with her full time. You know, it's crazy I'm describing relationships full time and part time, but that's what we're dealing with here apparently. I feel like she should have taken some time maybe and just lived life, I guess. But I know some people might say she already did that after the passing of her husband, but I don't think she took enough time. And again, going back to the relationship ending, the part-time thing, I feel like she should have taken time there and just realized that what went wrong in that relationship, maybe write down a list or something, and then analyze any red flags going forwards. But look, harsh, maybe. The fact that she has been scammed before, I don't necessarily think, again, back to the time thing, I don't necessarily think she took time to understand really what's going on around her. Rather, full steam ahead, I gotta find someone.
You know, depends on where you live. And he said, well, I'm in Germany. And I said, well, that's going to be real hard to date. Then he said he was in the military. And that kind of made me feel like he would be more willing to have a relationship because of the fact that he's in the military.
What?
And maybe he wanted to have somebody to talk to when he...
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there because logistically, that doesn't make sense to me. Someone is in the military, so they're more likely to want to be in a relationship. Where are the statistics for this, Caroline? Huh? Anyone in the military or has been in the military before? Did you want to be in a relationship just because you were in the military? Let me know. I'm just looking for someone to talk to. That screams red flag to me. What do you mean you're just looking for someone to talk to? You said earlier on you want to take me out on a date.
What did that just mean?
Let's keep this platonic then, if you're just looking for someone to talk to. That's a bit strange to me.
having a hard time or whatever over there.
I mean,
Maybe 2 or 3 times since we've been talking, we have had sexual talks, but it's not all the time.
goodness.
I was trying to scale back and see if he really wanted to talk to me, and I blocked him on TikTok.
Oh,
Then he started emailing me. We
how's that happened then?
talk by email now.
Sorry, too many things have happened there. You engaged in sexual conversations with someone who just said they just want to talk, but then you decide, I'm going to scale back to see if he truly wants to be with me after having the sexual conversations. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're going to have sexual conversations with someone online, one, probably refrain and be cautious anyway, because you don't really know this person. And in the heat of the moment, you might send some images of yourself and in the process be part now of an extortion scam. So just be very wary of that kind of thing, all right? But ultimately, you're going to do what you're going to do. If you do end up having sexual conversations with someone, can we realize or acknowledge if we want to actually be with them or not? Because you scaling back after the sexual conversations, honestly, in some cases, you've given the other person what they want or what they want. You know, they just wanted that sexual conversation, get their jollies off and hit the road. You kind of given them what they want. So please know who you're talking to before even engaging in stuff like this. But then he contacted you by email. How'd he get your email? What? That's some concerning shit, let's be honest. How's he done that? Did you give your email? Did he freaking search up your TikTok account and go digging for an email? What's happened here?
Mr. Krabs, I am so confused.
Except for when he calls me on the phone.
How's that happen then?
I do believe that I'm in love with him.
No, you're not. That doesn't make sense.
If he thinks that I'm upset, he'll even start crying on the phone.
Sure.
I don't know if he talks to other people or not because of the fact that he is constantly talking to me. I definitely want to have a future with him, and I would definitely marry him.
Caroline was blinded by the thought of starting a life with Donnie. Their relationship started to progress even further when they planned to start a family together.
Okay, I mean, you haven't... it would always surprise me, really. People who go about doing the... What am I saying?
Get some help.
Okay, after taking some time to recuperate myself and repair the severed connection between my brain and mouth, I will always struggle to understand how people can discuss starting a family with someone that they've never met. I understand lots of factors at play here, obviously, because the victim is where they are in the first place, but it will always baffle me. And going back on the whole I love you thing, she loves him, but blocked him on TikTok. Does that make sense? Are you in love with him, or are you in love with the young military man that's approached you? You know, there's a distinction there. This could be any freaking young military man. Would you feel the same way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The first time then Charlie asked me for money, it was like an emergency situation.
Okay.
It wasn't a whole lot. It was, I don't know, $45, $50 for his medicine.
That is a lot. And
Donnie told Carolyn that he would frequently get headaches and he needed her to buy him medicine to help with the pain. Well, those headaches kept getting worse and worse, and Caroline kept sending more and more money. She ended up shoveling out thousands of dollars to help Donnie with his migraines.
No, God!
I can't tell you how much I've sent him.
That's concerning.
I should know. I'm sure if I went back and looked, I would probably say anywhere from $50 to $100 a week lately. He showed me pictures of things that where he had gotten hurt, and I guess I couldn't stand it, so I sent it. So he definitely has a control over me as far as, you know, making sure that he's safe.
That's concerning. I must say, I feel like I've said this before though, but these older episodes, do you see the time it's taken between her speaking, then you get that music and the visuals, and then, you know, you get the other portion that we move on to. Sort of that gap, that time to breathe, so to speak. I very much appreciate that. It gives documentary vibes in a way. It allows me to sort of freaking digest what's going on here. That might be totally polar opposite to me and my motor mouth going full speed ahead. But some people have pointed out, and I also am aware of this, that I take pauses when I speak, and they tell me, cut out the pauses. It needs to be... No. How about that? I will not do such a thing. This ain't a freaking Mr. Beast video, is it? I'm not boom, 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 boom. Military. Boom, boom. But I appreciate that. And it's why I much prefer the older episodes to newer ones. But you didn't ask.
But point taken.
I think her mentioning that control and explicitly talking about control, I think she's opened the door for a consideration of therapy at the very least, because if someone has that level of control over you and you've never met them and you're sending money to them weekly, and not to burst anyone's bubble here, but military personnel get things covered by the military. Otherwise, goodness me, what kind of military is being run over there? But it's concerning that she said that, and whilst we can sit here at the end of this and say, hey, you've been scammed, etc., that sort of control isn't something you just click your fingers and now going forwards you won't fall into the same trap. She needs to address this with a professional so that it doesn't happen again, or at the very least, minimize the chances of it happening again. I don't think this is a case where, you tell her it was a scam and she goes off on her merry way following the yellow brick road. Because the yellow brick road is painted red here, okay? It's bleeding, and you are dripping in financial blood. There's a metaphor there. You can figure it out. Hopefully that all makes sense. We need to address the root cause of why someone like this has control over her. But I hope she's doing well, because this is an older episode.
Last week, I sent him money for his medicine again.
Gosh.
I've got my heart and soul involved in this person, and by him calling me and stuff like that, even when I wasn't talking to him for a month or so.
Why?
It was almost like a death in the family, because it was that much of a connection. I don't know how to describe it, because when I wasn't talking to him, I was really sad and really worried about him.
What would you call that?
I did try to break it off, and that's why I wasn't sure if he was real or not. That's why I approached you guys and to see if maybe he was or wasn't real.
You can stare at me as long as you want with those blue eyes. Your jawline will not sway me here, Donnie. I would call that detrimentally attached, if we can coin a phrase of any kind. I think that's a good example of what I always say, and I think I said it earlier on as well, or alluded to it. Do not attach happiness to another person, to a relationship, because for whatever reason that relationship ends. This person maybe becomes abusive, which in this case, this is financial abuse, and, a military person hounding you for money when they should be going to their frickin' medical team is, of course, abusive. Then you're in a difficult position, because you've attached that happiness to this situation. And when that situation is now detrimentally affecting you, what can you do? It's not easy to snap out of it, of course. So I always urge people, if you can, I guess, because obviously everyone handles things differently, and not everyone is going to have someone in their ear telling them this is wrong. But if you can take anything from this, I guess, this stupid commentary, if you are in a position like this, I urge you to recognize that your happiness is more than just a relationship. It's more than just another person. It needs to come from within your own self. And then you can go off and look for a relationship if you really want to, but I'd go as far as to say don't look for a relationship. If it happens naturally, great, but when you look for these things, you may end up making rash decisions. So basically, try and find happiness within yourself, because if you attach it to other things outside of your control, it's just not good for you in the long run.
I have sent probably about $10,000 to $15,000.
Right,
Yes.
How has that happened?
He's in the military in Germany, and I am concerned that he's maybe been mistreated while he's been there, and
Oh, goodness.
they have not paid him while he's been there. They're saying that they're going to pay him after his tour is up. That's a long time to go without having any money to get anything you
Right.
need.
That
so I
would
can kind of understand that.
That would be on the news, surely. He's being held hostage in the
Caroline
military.
lives off of her husband's death benefits
No.
and disability.
No.
She has sent so much money to Donnie, she had to pick up a job to pay her bills.
No. The little sympathy that I was sort of building up there. Yeah, Caroline, you've shattered it in your hands. You were living off of the money rest in peace that was, essentially given, passed down for you to live comfortably, and you've taken the mick out of it all. And the disability, I assume you mean she has some sort of disability allowance from the government and she's using that. It's been a while since something like that of that nature has been touched on, but in earlier videos, I find that also a spit in the face of people who are struggling to even get a disability allowance. And here you are doing the defecation in people's mouths. So, you've upset me, really. Let me know your thoughts.
The medicine Donnie needed really started to affect her life.
I can't figure it out. My heart is in it, and the way he talks to me, it seems like his heart's in it. I do feel like I love him that much that I can tell when he's smiling on the phone, when he's not, when he's upset. I can tell if he's gonna, laugh or not.
Where is he looking?
I don't know. I'm not used to somebody showing any emotion at all.
I mean, I understand that, but that doesn't mean you need to pay for this.
Donnie's stories to Caroline had scammer written all over
Of
them.
course.
We went through all of the financial information that she sent over. All of the money she sent to Donnie was through gift cards. Our team uncovered Caroline sent Donnie on average 1 gift card per day for a year. And we estimated that she sent over 100 gift cards to Donnie in that
Who's
time,
George?
totaling to over $10,000.
Who's Faye?
After running search after search, we were finally able to find the real man in the photos. Caroline was infatuated with this man, and we were about to hit her with the truth.
Infatuated? Is that in love, I assume? I don't necessarily think she's in love, we touched on it, of course. I think she's just in love, in quotations, with this young military man for the looks and stuff. I mean, you could argue that's just lust, to be frank. To be Donnie instead. That's lust, not necessarily love. But, here we are. It's too late for having love conversations, I guess.
Using our tools on our site, we found the real man in the photos.
But before we hop into it, here's a message from our sponsor. Are you in an online relationship and you just can't seem to find a way to meet the person you're speaking to?
No.
Do they work on an oil rig?
No.
Do they always have some problem stopping them from seeing you in person?
No.
Does the relationship feel too good to be true? These are all huge red flags, and you possibly could be talking to a romance scammer. You should check out the tools on our website, socialcatfish.com. You can run all kinds of searches on whoever you want and get results back in minutes. Use socialcatfish.com. Find out the truth. It was now time to sit down with Carolyn and tell her what we had found.
Nice to meet you, Carolyn.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you with Donnie at the moment?
We just talk back and forth, and he calls me on the phone. And
how is he getting the time to do this?
He's always asking for money.
Oh, of course.
Well, Carolyn, I have looked into your case, and I noticed you were very excited about Donnie.
And this Donnie has noticed this. I think I've been calling her Caroline, so apologies, Carolyn, for that.
When you had described him, you mentioned he was handsome.
Very
sexy.
Very.
Is this the type of guy you're used to dating?
Probably not. Let's be real here.
Kinda, but not.
Are we taking?
Not the right. Usually, I don't date that young or that type of. Usually I go out with guys that are Hispanic or
Just say it.
I don't usually go out with that type of guy anymore because of my ex.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't understand what has just happened there. She's just dropped all sorts of hypocritical statements. You kind of, but not anymore. That's not usually the type, but in the beginning, kind of, what are we doing here? what are we doing here? It's just accept, accept the realism, accept the reality. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Life goes on. If you are no longer able to date people who are younger, in the military, etc., that's okay. That's part of growing up, man. Like, I feel like a lot of these victims really don't appreciate the chance or, even the opportunity. And yes, I call it opportunity because not many people get this opportunity to grow older. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. Just appreciate life. You don't have to always try and live in the past,
So do you normally date younger men, or is this the first time?
I've always dated younger men.
But you've just
what
said...
What information are you looking to receive
said
from
no,
us
I
today?
don't...
Some real information. I want to make sure that he's real. I want to make sure that he's who he says he is, and I want to make sure that he is really in the military and that he's having a hard time.
He might be in the military, the actual person behind the images, not frickin' the scammer. Has he got health problems? Maybe, but that's none of your concern, and definitely not financially. And I just want to touch on, she always dates younger men. Controversial, maybe. Let me know your thoughts. I feel like that doesn't necessarily help your situation of being a repeat scam victim. Is that just me that feels that way? Because if you are consistently wanting to date younger individuals, there is a level of delusion there. I don't want to necessarily say ego. I don't know if she's come across as an egotistical person, but I do think people who believe that they can date younger individuals who, harsh or not, are out of your league, I believe there's a bit of ego there. I feel like that contributes to you being a scam victim. They play on your delusion, they play on your ego, they play on your greed. Of course, people will argue they also play on your loneliness, but I feel like those factors play more of a role, especially in stories like this. But let me know your thoughts.
I'm hoping that he's the person he says he is, because if he's not, then of course I've been
scammed,
misled, and mistreated.
So, Carolyn, I wanted to go over, some of the red flags that we had found in this case. You had mentioned you sent Donnie gift cards. We see these used often in romance scams because they are untraceable and there's no personal information attached to them.
Oh, okay.
Is that something that you're familiar with?
No.
You had mentioned that Donnie was in the military.
Yeah.
And that you had to send him over money in the form of gift cards to assist him.
Because they haven't paid him yet, because he's still on a mission.
That's another detail that we found in this case that rose red flag. When someone is in active duty, they're completely taken care of.
Okay.
Chris found some information pertaining to his image that he would like to share with you.
Using our tools on our site, we found the real man in the photos. Unfortunately, Carolyn, you were not speaking to Donnie Charlie. Donnie Charlie is a fake name. The real man in the photos, his name is Jan. He is from Germany, but he is an influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers whose images are used hundreds of times.
Obviously, Jan, I'm not sure it's how you pronounce it. I think it's Jan, maybe? But his shirt says a good start, Chris, right? We didn't start this episode on a good foot, let's be honest. Silly joke. It was actually not even funny. Segue. Whatever happened to Chris? Does anyone know? Obviously, he's not here frickin' anymore. But anyone know where he went? Not stalker vibes. Obviously, I'm just interested.
Across the web. Do you need a moment, Carolyn?
I'm fine.
How does this information
I don't think you're fine,
make
to
you
be
feel?
honest.
Upset.
Yes.
Just that.
Where does that lead you with Donnie?
Well, I can't keep talking to him because he's lying.
I know this is an older episode, so maybe I can't go too much on the language there, but you've just told her it's not real. And then you say, where does this leave you with Donnie? That small bit, like already victims are mostly delusional AF anyway, right? When you say that, it kind of, in my opinion, tells them, oh, she described him as Donnie, so it could be real, maybe. Please.
That makes it really hard to have a relationship if they're not telling the truth.
Like, she still
I'm
thinks
sure this comes as a
is real.
shock considering the plans you had made to move in together and live the rest of your lives together.
Get a grip.
Right.
I'm getting pissed off now.
In fact, he called me before I got home.
And what did he say?
He just wanted to talk, and I said, well, I was driving. I couldn't talk. But he calls me all the time.
That doesn't mean it's
When
real.
we first spoke, you mentioned that you had previously dated online and that a man took you for $3,000. I have to ask, Carolyn, why do you think you keep falling for these scams?
Didn't she say she got hacked?
Because I really thought that he was not getting paid.
Carolyn,
What?
after your experience with Donnie, are you going to continue to date online?
Probably not.
Well, she said that before, though.
Because this is the second time this has happened.
As much as I don't want to freaking dog on her, do you know what I mean? She has been a bit of a hypocrite here and there in this episode, so I don't necessarily believe that she won't be a victim again. I hope not, of course, and I can't remember how long ago this video was posted, but I hope she hasn't freaking delved back into the cave of delusion, do you know what I mean?
I appreciate y'all taking your time to do this. You didn't have to. I know it's kind of what you do, but it made it a little bit easier for me because I'm not young like a lot of people who get out here and do this.
Do what?
So I'm really okay with the fact that you were able to help me out and show me that he was not real.
Whoa. Carolyn is a good person who realized that she just needed some help. We offered up counseling and she accepted it. Okay, she is taking a break from online dating. Just, the cynical in me, how have we come to the conclusion she's a good person? Going off of her story, we can't just say she's a good person, but cool, I get it. I'm glad she took up the counseling offer. I do feel like she needs that because there are definitely things within her that need to be worked on rather than just jumping into all these relationships. And maybe the counselor can ask, why is it that you date younger men? I understand some people will say, it's a preference thing. It's creepy, in my opinion. All right, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just... messenger? I'm relaying the message from my brain. I find it a bit creepy. I understand people will say, obviously it's not my love life to get involved in stuff. I'm not getting involved. I just want to know why you feel this need, right? But I feel like that's the end of this episode, right? Okay, are we gonna move? I've pressed play. I promise you. Oh, I don't think there's anything else.
Thanks
Okay.
for watching another episode of Scamfish, everyone.
No worries, Drew. I'm now gonna go over to the original video. Of course, check out the comments. We'll do a tantalizing talk. See what people are saying. We'll discuss some things. I'm interested to see what people are saying here. I anticipate it's a lot of, where's the realism woman type vibe. But I'll be back in a jiffy. Tantalizing talk. Are you ready to be tantalized? Do you feel me burning between your loins? Oh, goodness me, I don't know what that was. A lot of the comments, as anticipated, touched on similar things. You know, her seemingly having low self-esteem, delusion, XYZ, samey, right? A lot of what we covered in the initial commentary. But I did find a few comments that I just wanted to speak about, so let's go. I was finished when she said he's the kind of guy she normally dates. She's definitely delusional. I think there was mention within this comment under the replies of ego, which I touched on. You guys let me know if you think there is a certain level of egotisticalisms in what she's doing, but delusion definitely. Okay, she's well and truly, like, she's hanging from the stalactites in the freaking cave. But is it stalactites? Or is it stalagmites? One of those is correct. I also want to point out during that part, sort of the struggle to give a response to the question. First of all, it's a bit of a throwing shade. We got the umbrellas open in the sunlight, have some shade. Are these the type of men you normally date? I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of shade there, but it's not exactly a bad question or rude. If anyone wants to frickin' lay down the law, you need to ask these questions, okay? I'm very much proud of them for asking that, to be honest. But she struggled to give a coherent or at least simple answer. Yes or no? Not frickin', yeah, usually, but not nowadays. And what do you, yes or no? You know, if you're struggling yourself to define the type of men that you usually date, honestly, I feel like you're not lying to us, you're lying to yourself, okay? So let me know your thoughts on that. I thought it was very interesting that she took her time to answer. And look, as a waffler myself, as someone who stumbles over my words, that wasn't that case. She wasn't stumbling over her words because she's having a bit of a brain fart like I do. She was struggling to answer that because she was, in my opinion, trying to come up with an answer that makes her seem good in people's eyes. Look, I can date people like this, definitely. For what reason? What validation are you seeking here? But that would touch on the low self-esteem that I think she has. But the next comment, I'm also a middle-aged woman, and if someone like or looked like that messaged me, I'd know it was a scam. I'm all for confidence, but not delusion. This might be the first time I've seen a comment that says what I say in terms of I'm all for people having confidence because it's good to have confidence in yourself. It can open a lot of doors. But if the doors you're opening freaking have a model behind them with the jawline carved from granite, you close that door and you run the other direction, okay? I don't know why there's doors in the cave of delusion in the first place, but run. So I just need to emphasize, of course, here, it's not bad to have confidence in yourself because I feel like you should. And I know obviously you don't click your fingers and freaking, yeah, it happens. Take it from me, I still very much struggle with confidence compared to losing weight from the past and stuff. You know, I thought it would be a quick fix and stuff, but I have my own insecurities, you know? But when you let your confidence border arrogance, and you've crossed the freaking border, you've crossed it so far, you've ended up in Germany, that's arrogance at that point. And I very much feel like you need to correct that, seek a therapist, because that level of confidence is going to severely hurt you in the future. Next up, I echo this wholeheartedly. Find comfort in being alone, people. All company ain't good company. I don't really need to add too much to this, but knowing my motor mouth, once I get going, I probably might add too much to this. But I need people to recognize that just because someone seems on the surface good and friendly to talk to, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to welcome them into your circle. Does that make sense? I feel like maybe some people, just because they see someone being nice to them, they just pounce on it, right? I know it's a different example, of course, but I want to bring in when, for example, people think that someone being nice to them equals, oh my God, they must like me and love me relationship-wise. You know those type of people? And then they get rejected or something, and then they're like, oh, so why were you being nice all this time then? It's human just to be nice. Doesn't mean they want to sleep with you, you know what I mean? You know those type of people? So basically, don't get swept up in thank you, because you've saved me, because I don't know where I was heading with what was coming out of my mouth, to be honest. So let's compose ourselves, and I'm keeping this in the edit just to piss off those people who say I need to do more cuts. And you can get out of here. Basically, please be very wary of who you bring into your circle. Even if they on the surface seem nice and stuff, that doesn't mean you need to be their friend and whatnot. Just reserve that for the people who make an effort in your life, I guess. Don't confuse that initial little niceness as them making an effort. Because, I mean, people should just be nice. Unfortunately, we don't really live in a world where it's all that common people are nice, but just be wary. It takes a lot more to enter your life. I would hope so, anyway. I hope Carolyn has found love. Yes, but also, at the same time, I could argue no. Because she needs to learn what love is for her and what love is in actuality, if that makes sense. Because what she deems as love, looking at a picture, they say nice things, I send them money, we're in love, let's start a family. When in actuality, love is all about respect, consideration, genuinely feeling a connection with the other person that goes past looks, that goes past that initial attraction. And also being in freaking proximity of one another that doesn't exceed many miles, So that, in my opinion, is love, heavy on the respect, consideration, There was no respect here. I mean, all this time taking money from someone, you don't respect them, let's be honest. Even if you do need that money, it's not the other person's prerogative to help you out here. Go and chat to your freaking medical Donnie, alright? So I hope she's found love that's real. But I also hope at the same time, she doesn't just, she hasn't just found it for the sake of it. She's genuinely wanted to be with someone. They genuinely want to be with her. And then that's love. If it's a case of she's just, again, picked someone out of obscurity just to be with them for the sake of it, then I hope she didn't find love. Why didn't you contact Catfish before you gave him all that money? I mean, we see this a lot in most of these stories, and it's not just catfish stories. Most scam victims, I would go as far as saying, don't really do their research before giving money, before giving personal information, etc., etc. Do your research before you end up giving yourself a headache. It will save you, hopefully, a lot of stress in the long run. Next up, I mainly picked this out to address one thing, but, we'll get into that. Not gay, but good-looking men like that date models. Women like this need to wake up and stop being deluded, not being rude. Men like this wouldn't touch a woman like this with a fishing rod. I feel like maybe you got a bit mean towards the end there, but, someone will call me a hypocrite and say that I'm mean anyway. Let me know your thoughts. I wanted to pick this out mainly to say, when you compliment this guy, good looking and what, I don't feel like you need to say not gay. I've seen this a lot. especially growing up, people, would compliment their friend, for example, and then just, yeah, but I'm not gay, by the way. Like, are you insecure or something? Like, this is a good-looking guy, bro. Just compliment them. I understand, obviously, not everyone thinks the way I do, but I don't give a shit. I've had my sexuality questioned many a time on this channel alone, but even in real life, because I compliment someone, I don't give a shit. Like, if I was gay, who cares? Get a grip, We need to learn to just, lift people up, It's not, I don't know, I find it very odd, and to be honest, a bit bigoted. Let me know your thoughts on that. I feel like she was never actually in a relationship with that one guy. I bet he was clear the whole time that they weren't together. I assume you mean the real life person who was doing up part-time. Maybe. I mean, I guess we'll never know, because I touched on the fact that she was a bit hypocritical here and there in that episode. So, to be honest, I don't know if I should believe her that he was the one who, down the line, said that he was looking for this instead of this. I obviously spoke on not wasting people's time, and if you genuinely want one thing, let them know from the beginning, but that was a more generalized thing, or was I coming at him? I think I called him a donkey. So, I'll take that back, because at that point, I didn't realize she was a bit of a hypocrite. So I apologize in advance to whoever that is, because I didn't have my thinking cap on at the time, but I had this one, but it's not my thinking cap. Basically, I'd love to know the real story behind it, but we'll never get it, because, she's the victim, and she was the one who appeared on the show, and it was only later on that she started doing up hypocritical, so I apologize. This next comment is interesting. Americans, you need to educate yourselves how things works in your country. A person lies to you about how your military works and you believe it. It's so weird. Okay, punctuation-wise, grammatically, you can't say Americans need to go and educate themselves and your comment is all over the place. Do you know what I mean? And also, you can't go at Americans, but then say a person lies to you about how your military works, when in the story, Donnie was in the German military, supposedly. So he wasn't lying to her about the American military, the German one. So if you're going to come at people, do you know what I mean? You need to fact check and all sorts. But hopefully that makes sense. And also, it's not just Americans. Like, maybe Catfish predominantly focus on victims in America, but it's not just Americans who fall victim to scams. But, the last one, goodness me, let's open up a can of worms with this. In my life, I've seen really hot, sizzling hot guys in real long-term time relationships with women who'd make only Shrek's head turn. It happens, people. Oftentimes, men fall in love with good women, good within. Let's be fair. I'm with you in the last portion, and I would hope everyone falls in love with a good person. Your partner treats you with respect, consideration, etc., etc. What the hell is the first part of your comment? Hot, sizzling hot? Is this a freaking grill commercial or something? What are you talking about here? I feel like you got a bit flustered there. And then women who'd make only Shrek's head turn. Wow, way to shit on women who you don't know being in a relationship that and I know this might seem hypocritical, right? You see their relationship as, those people shouldn't be together because one's out of their league, etc. But the distinction here is that I like to believe, let me know your thoughts, because obviously you guys are the ones that listen to this BS. So you'll be able to tell me if I do this or not. But I'd like to think that I say what you're trying to say, but in a nicer way. Like, you can say someone is out of someone's league and not be rude about it. You've called the women who are in relationships, ugly, essentially, because only Shrek would go out with them or something. It's giving pick me vibes, right? You've described men as hot, sizzling hot, and then the women are ugly and Shrek would only go out with them. I mean, Shrek went out with Fiona, and Fiona, hey, hear me out, Fiona is a good looking ogre. So I don't know what you're talking about, really, but ironic you say let's be fair and you've just shat on the women. So let me know your thoughts, I guess. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but let me know. Hopefully guys learned something from this, and that is very much so that self-esteem can put you in the ground, bro. The depths of the cave of delusion. It can very much put you in there, and I hope you are able to recognize how much your self-esteem is affecting you, because obviously this isn't a way to navigate a relationship, and it definitely isn't the way to navigate life, because your seeming loving connection left you in a lot of debt money-wise. I don't know if it's debt, but 10 to 15k, she said, that's a lot of freaking money to be out of. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you next time. Bye. I need headache meds. Someone send me money.